Hello and welcome back students. अब हम करेंगे transfer of thermal energy question 16 to question 20. Let's start. Question 16. The diagram shows four identical cans with their outside surfaces either polished silver or painted dull black. Each contains the same volume of water initially at 80 degrees Celsius. After 5 minutes in a cool room, which contains the most cool water? First of all, देयर मस्ट बी नो लिड्स जो लिड्स होती हैं फॉर जैसे आप लोग देखते ही होंगे आपके घर में अगर कोई हांडी वगैरह बन रही है या कोई खाना बना हुआ है इन अ कंटेनर लाइक टू प्रिजर्व द हीट उसके ऊपर कोई लिड लगा देते हैं राइट ताकि खाना गर्म रहे काफी देर के लिए या फॉर एग्जांपल रोटियों वाला जो एक चीज क्या कहते हैं there's a डब्बा टाइप का रोटियों वाला यू पुट a cap or something a lid on top to keep it warm. So लिड्स को एलिमिनेट कर दो इट्स आइदर ए और बी. अच्छा, ब्लैक इज अ गुड emitter. As we know, black is a very good emitter. We covered this in the last video. Black is a very good emitter. That means A is the right answer. With polished silver, silver is polished. First of all, it is polished. It's a shiny surface. It won't be as good as good as an emitter compared to dull black. ठीक है ना? And it is silver, not black. And black जितना darker color होगा the more it will radiate, right? फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर मैंने आपको पिछली दफा भी ये एग्जाम्पल दी थी लाइक अगर आपके घर में मतलब कपड़े टांगे हुए हैं एंड इट वाज अ सनी डे राइट और आप कोई ब्लैक या डार्कर कलर का कपड़ा अंदर लाते हो इट रेडिएट्स अ लॉट ऑफ हीट राइट लाइक एज कंपेयर टू अ वाइट क्लॉथ इट रेडिएट्स अ लॉट ऑफ हीट. कभी आप लोग ये एक्सपीरियंस करना. Question 17. Samples of four different materials at room temperature are heated and from below and heat is transferred upwards. In which in which material is all of the heat transferred by vibration of the molecules? It's gonna be C, air, water और mercury. Mercury में partially convection होती है and partially conduction होती है right? So C में totally rubber में totally conduction होगी right? So C is the right answer. Question 18. A metal lid fits tightly on a glass jar. Which process makes it easier to remove the lid from the jar? अच्छा आपने तो सुना ही होगा थर्मल एक्सपेंशन के बारे में राइट. थर्मल एक्सपेंशन के बारे में. अच्छा, अब पहले हम ऑप्शन पढ़ लेते हैं देन आई एक्सप्लेन इन डिटेल. कूल द लिड ओनली. कूल से कंट्रैक्शन होगी ना कि expansion. So cool will tighten the jar more. Put the jar and lid in a refrigerator that will again cool the surfaces, cool the object. Warm the jar only. अच्छा, अगर jar को अगर आप पूरा warm करोगे ना, the main purpose is to remove the lid, right? अगर आप पूरे jar को ही गर्म कर दोगे, so along with the lid, the whole jar will expand. Rather than you making the lid loose, the whole jar expands and it is equally as hard to remove the lid. While on the other hand, अगर आप सिर्फ lid को expand करोगे, if only the lid expands, then what will happen is the rest of the jar will stay at the same like volume या उसका जो volume होता है right? While the lid will increase in size. और जब lid increase करेगी size, it will be easier to open. आप कभी ये एक्सपेरिमेंट करना. पुट a tight jar in a water in some like hot water for a minute or two and देखना it will be a lot easier to open because of thermal expansion. अच्छा मैं आपको thermal expansion भी बता देता हूँ. When the particles heat up, जो particles in the solid, when they heat up, they start to vibrate, and when they vibrate, they start to increase the volume of. When they vibrate, they start to like gain kinetic energy, and they start to vibrate vigorously, and increase the volume of the object. So what we evaluated was warm the lid only. If you warm the lid only, the rest of the jar will relatively become smaller compared to the lid. Question 19. A cold solid is placed on top of a hot solid. Thermal energy flows from the hot solid to the cold one. ठीक है ना? What is the explanation of this? For example, इसी को ले लेते हैं. I don't want to make a mess. तो ना यही ले लेते हैं. For example, wait, this is a ice cube. ठीक है ना? And this is something hot. ठीक है ना? Like me. आगे, the particle, the heat will move via conduction, sorry, not convection. Conduction. और वो conduction कैसे होता है? By energy passing from one molecule to the next one. That's how conduction takes place. Conduction is the transfer of heat mainly through solids. और जब solids heat होते हैं, solid को heat supply करते हैं, one end of the solid, then the molecules gain energy and vibrate vigorously. ठीक है ना? The kinetic energy of molecules passes on to, मतलब अगर for example यहाँ दो molecules हैं and they're vigorously vibrating, it will transfer the kinetic energy to the upper molecules as well, right? Because they're vibrating and they'll transfer the molecules to the vibration to the upper molecules as well, the kinetic energy. So that will in turn, the energy passes from one molecule to the other. That's the right answer. Question 20. A cold bottle containing a drink is placed on a table on a warm day. ठीक है ना? Drops of water from form on the outside of the bottle. ठीक है? Which process? अच्छा, this is what they're talking about. They're talking about convection. अच्छा, इसको जरा हटा दूं मैं इसको. For example, एक बोतल आपने ली है, एक बॉटल ली है, एक कोक की बोतल ली है. Just assume this is a bottle, right? And it is very cold. और एक warm day है. So the air is likely to be humid. Air will be humid. And this bottle is cold. जब initially आप बोतल को most of the times निकालते हो, the bottle is dry from the outside because the temperature of the fridge matches the temperature of the bottle. But in some cases that does not happen. Those are the exceptions. But I'm talking about normally. Normally what should happen is when you take out the bottle, it is dry. लेकिन जब आप उसको बाहर लेके जाते हो in a humid environment में क्या होता है? There is a lot of water in the air, right? Water in the air जब cold object के साथ उसमें आती है, contact में आती है, it starts to like उसके ऊपर पानी आने लग जाता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर आपने कोई बोतल बाहर रखी होगी ना, इट विल स्टार्ट टू हैव वाटर ड्रॉपलेट्स on top of it, right? So that is what condensation is. ठीक है ना? Condensation, that's the process called condensation. अगर आपने कोई कोक की बोतल ली है फॉर एग्जाम्पल, most of the times it does happen if it's like in a humid environment. If it's not in a cold environment, in a humid environment, that does happen. Acha, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching and please subscribe.